Welcome back, guys. Again, we are here to have a conversation with you guys. And today we're going to talk about scents, like smells that make you nostalgic, bring back memories, what have you. So let's get into it. Hey guys, and welcome back to the Chappers. Today we're going to talk about scents. Like we said, smells that bring back good memories, make you happy, or just make you nostalgic for things in the past or even current things. So let's get into that. I think one of mine, it's kind of funny. I think a lot of people might have this one, but fresh cut grass. Like it just brings me back to.
You're gonna go with that one.
What?
Of course you're gonna go with that one.
Well, yeah, because it just makes me think of warmer weather. Oh, I almost threw my phone. Not because my mom likes to cut grass like a lot.
Times of 1 year it keeps track. We all admit we will do that too. We'll keep track, but ours is you guys cut it 50 billion times.
I know. That's because we cut our grass taller. So then like you have to cut it more often. Mm-hmm. It keeps your grass thicker, keeps weeds out of it and stuff. But yeah. But that always just brings me back to warmer weather. Like the season's changing, you're getting into the longer days, like it's issuing into like summer. So it's always like, I don't know, it makes me happy when I smell fresh cut grass for the first time in the spring, because that just means that summer's coming and that like all of the fun things that come along with summer, I almost said sunner, is around the corner. So yeah, it just went straight out the gates with that one. What's one of the ones
but
that
you're not wrong, because smelling cut grass, like it will make me think of memories too.
Yeah.
Like for example, one with me is whenever we would go to my cousin's birthday party in the summer, my dad wouldn't go and he would just be at home doing stuff, and he would always be cutting grass when we would come back. So it was like this thing where like during the summer, like coming back from my cousin's like summer birthday, and they just coming back smelling the fresh cut grass, but he was still cutting it. But that brings back automatically that memory. Don't know why, but it just does.
See, it just like triggers something, like, you know, I don't know. It's just like, to me, it like triggers playing outside and like going on like summer walks even in the evening, because some people, they cut their grass at different times of day. So like just, I don't know, it kind of brings you back to that childhood. It's like a nostalgic smell that you just like. What?
So I think it just went by. Was it Aria?
Oh yeah. I did see her. You just see a tail like just going around behind me. That's why I was like, did the audio cut out or something? But yeah, I don't know. And it reminds you of like too, when you have your windows open. It's like that time of year where you can have your windows open. It's not like you have to have them closed or whatever. But also, I mean, even though
the allergy season though, like when you know
you're smelling, I know it does like signify that too, because
it's not on us.
I'm not looking forward to that. Because I do. Oh my, I always have to make sure I take an allergy pill before I cut grass, because like I can't.
Everything just settles into it. It sucks.
Yeah. Because then it's all over your shoes, like the pollen from not only the grass, but like what falls from trees and all of that crap. And that's the one thing I don't look forward to in the spring. Like besides like when it's rainy in the spring, you know, I don't know.
Yeah.
But what's something that a scent that like makes you happy or bring back some sort of memory?
So when you brought this up, one of the things that definitely came into my mind is at Disney, they're very famously known for pumping certain scents, different
Mhm.
places. So there's like this sweet orange type scent that they would have the scent on the Magical Express buses. So the coach buses that would take you from the Orlando airport to your hotels. And there were a couple of the resorts that also pumped this scent.
Mhm.
And I don't know why, but once in a while, I will somewhere smell something super similar to it. And it
Mhm.
makes me think of being on like the Magical Express Disney coach buses. And when
Yeah.
you'd walk into some of the hotels, I can't, it's one, I have a couple of those where I can't describe the scent, but I know it's like this orange sweet type of a smell. And I wish so badly that I could get that scent because it's just something that even though people talk about the ride smells, like the water scent with Pirates of the Caribbean, that doesn't really stick with me very much. So when I go there next, I'm gonna purposely be sniffing and smelling it because like you smell those type of scents, but it doesn't like ingrain in your brain where people are obsessed with it. This
Right.
orange scent though, there's something about it though that it just makes me immediately think about Disney World.
Yeah. Yeah, that makes sense because like a lot of their resorts, like some of them have like a specific scent to them. Like I know people always talk about the Polynesian
Yes.
resort has a specific scent.
So good. I don't even remember. Somebody once I read described what the scents were mixed together, but
Mhm.
there is a spray, a body mist I bought. I think it was from Victoria's Secret.
Mhm.
It wasn't like their perfume, it was just like the regular body spray. It smells actually a little bit like the Polynesian. So I have that. When I spray it, I'm like, it just reminds me of that place. So I don't know what's in it. I'm gonna have to look up online, but it's a very distinct scent that you do not smell that anywhere else on property. It's just so good.
Yeah. They're known for like doing that because they want to like um I just like blinked on the word, but like really play on your senses and kind of like draw you into like
Like
this
there's
is
sometimes I doubt that they're really doing stuff in these bakeries. They probably are, but they will purposely pump scents to make it seem like they're cooking
oh
fresh
yeah.
bakery,
Yeah.
fresh popcorn. There's certain stuff that they just um smell. They're called like there's like an actual name for it too, what they call
Mhm.
them.
Yeah. Not like smell-o-vision, but like something.
Yeah, there's something with the word smell in it, but smell sensors or something. It's just yeah, it's a
Yeah.
very known thing.
Yeah. It's like a marketing thing too. So that like, you know, like you said, when you smell it, if you get a catch like a whiff of it like up here or anywhere you're at, it immediately makes you think of that. And then like
Yeah.
that makes people want to go back because they want to smell that again and they want to like experience everything that comes with that scent. So
Wow.
it's a good marketing ploy though.
And then you'll get these small businesses that try to really recreate
Yes.
the scent.
I know.
One time I would like to try to buy one from one of those companies, but sometimes I'm like, are they really going to smell that way? Are you going to buy it? It's going to be like, why did I waste like all this money on this? Because
Oh
sometimes
yeah.
you don't pick them up because they're small businesses, but I don't know. Eventually I might try one of them.
Yeah, I've seen a couple of them like it's like a candle and they'll have like smaller sizes and stuff and they have like the Polynesian one. I think they had one for the Grand Floridian and like other stuff. I can't remember exactly which ones they had, but they had like even for some of the rides too, like some of the
Yeah.
well-known scents. And I think one of them too was like the Dole Whip, the pineapple Dole Whip. It was like that scent.
So good.
Oh, I
Oh
know.
my
There's places around here that have those, which like those are good. I do enjoy
Yeah,
getting.
Dairy View, they'll do during the summer whenever they do it. I have to go there.
Yeah.
When they do their soft serve, I'm like, I need to go.
There's one in North Ridgeville that I can't remember what it's called, but they have Dole Whips. And I like getting the because they'll have usually two flavors available. And when they have the vanilla and the pineapple, I get them mixed tastes so good.
Oh yeah, that's what I like doing too.
Yeah.
Is getting a mix.
Yeah. So it's just, you get a little taste of it up here, you know. This is another one that's like very specific, but Coppertone sunscreen makes me think of childhood, like summertime when we were little kids, because that's what we used all the time as little kids, was always the Coppertone. And it was the bottles, they changed the image because they didn't want the little girl's butt hanging out with the dog pulling her bikini bottom, you know. So they changed the way the bottle is because you got some weirdo people out there now. But so it just, whenever I smell that, I think of summer days as a kid, either playing outside in the sprinkler, or in our neighborhood we have a community pool, going up to the pool with your friends and stuff like that. So like that triggers those memories, especially when I use it now. But they did kind of change it. It doesn't smell exactly the same, which is kind of disappointing. But I don't always use Coppertone as much now. I usually use Sunbum. So then there's other memories connected to Sunbum too, like vacations now, like older. But yeah, that, I don't know, it just, it brings me back to being a little kid, like running around outside, because you know, mom always had to slather you with like SPF 30 all the time. So you just like smelled like it head to toe. Just, I don't know, it just reminds me of late 90s, early 2000s summers.
Yeah. Swimming lessons. If we would go outside, we have to put that on.
Where you were like outside from the morning to evening, like that's how we were as kids. We didn't like, and the only time you were inside like all day was if it was like storming. So, but yeah, but there was times when we were kids that like, if it wasn't storming like really bad, like lightning and thunder, our parents would let us play out in the rain, like, and you know, run around in the rain a little bit.
Bathing suit.
Yeah.
I went outside one time, I remember my bathing suit. I'm like, the water is so warm. It was like really warm raindrops.
Yeah. You're like just playing in puddles and stuff. Yeah. I mean, hey, it's a thing, you know? So rite of passage as a kid to play out in the rain for a little bit. So.
As long as it's not lightning.
Not when it's like thunderstorming. No, don't do it then.
So my next one is those scented pine cones that Joann Fabrics always has.
Oh yeah.
Reminds me of my grandma's back porch. So anytime we would go over there, before you would go into the rest of the house, on this big back porch area, it would always smell like that. So like whenever I'd go to Joann Fabrics, I smell it, I'm like, oh, it smells like Grandma and Grandpa's house. Like that always sticks with me. And I'm trying to remember, like, I don't know if she buys them anymore. Maybe because she doesn't have that area anymore, because now they're in a different house.
Maybe.
I think she stopped buying them.
Okay.
But that was always a signature thing on the back porch. I'm like, oh, yeah, that like really spicy cinnamony type pine cone.
Yeah, and it's like really potent sometimes. Like if
I
there's
just had a smell.
Oh, they smell good, but sometimes it's like, wow, that's why you have to have them outside. You're like, whoa, good grief. Well, I mean, that's a better scent than what like my brother and I always talk about, like when we smell this specific scent. And you'll laugh at this. We think of our grandparents' attic in their house, because it's an attic where you can live up in. It's like another bedroom. And the walls are where the storage is and stuff. But it always smells of pennies and rubber bands. Because we would go up there and there'd be pennies like everywhere, just like thrown everywhere. I don't know why, but there would be pennies like everywhere. So we would go and we would collect them and like put them in piles and stuff. It's the weirdest.
That's a very unique attic storage smell because like I always think of like different smells with attics and stuff. But
Nope.
that's very different and interesting.
Yeah, pennies and rubber bands. The mix of them, like those, like it's such a weird thing to be like, we equate this with our grandparents' house, but there was always rubber bands and pennies laying around in the upstairs attic. Like, why? I don't know why. Just like, who went up there and just was throwing pennies around? Like, I have no idea. But anytime we smell that like scent, we're like, we go, oh my God, it smells like grandma's attic.
Oh God.
Yeah. It's weird. So when you were talking about your grandparents, something like that.
Yeah. My grandparents' attic, it was a bedroom that was also like converted into an attic, but then there's a crawl space and there's a door you can open up to go in there. I don't know why, but it almost like there was like this sweet type of like a weird maple smell up there.
Maybe from the wood that was used?
Yeah, because upstairs there is a ton of, it's like the old wooden floor and it's not the wood paneling that was popular like what you guys had downstairs when I have in my bedroom. It was like the thick, like what they used in the 50s for building houses, like the wooden boards that are on the wall. I don't know if it has maybe a scent to do with that, but maybe. whenever I go up there, I'll sometimes get like a whiff of that. And it's like weird. It's like a mapley type of scent. Like, and I don't understand it either. And it's not like you're smelling like pancakes. It's more of like a natural type of a thing. It's so I don't know. Maybe it does have something to do with all the wood up there.
Maybe, like maybe they used maple to build it. I don't know.
Oh no. But yeah, that will also remind me of that.
Yeah, it's just like random things that you're like, what in the world? But I'm like, I don't know why their attic smells like pennies. And well, I mean, I do know because it had pennies and the rubber bands everywhere. But for it to be like such a strong scent, like it's weird.
That is very different.
The smell of like a fireplace, like whether it be indoor or you have bonfires, that just like reminds me of going over like to one of our friends' houses because we would always go over there for bonfires, and even like the inside of their house would smell like when they would have their fireplace on, like the indoor one. So when I'm putting on our fireplace and I get like that whiff of that when I'm opening the door to put in another log, it reminds me of like those summer nights or like fall nights when we would be over there and having a bonfire or being inside with their fireplace. So it like brings back that like nostalgic hanging out with your family friends around the bonfire or around the fireplace. And I know it's one of the scents that you always like.
Yeah, because I bring up the memory 50 billion times, but I remember as a kid, like I'm going to be super descriptive with this too. So I remember when we were little, when it was like really nice summer nights out, the front door would be open and the screen would be down. And it was like one of those things where like you just showered, you're like all clean and stuff. And then you smell this. That's how weird and descriptive, like I said, I'm getting with this, but it was like you're a little kid, you just showered. So it was like still early in the evening, but it's dark out and you smell someone like somewhere around the neighborhood of the street. And it's just like that really good campfire smell. That's almost like a hint of a marshmallowy type scent that gets the burning wood. And it would just smell so good. And maybe it was like a little bit cool out, so it would just enhance the smell. And like it is so ingrained in my brain that I love that. And that always gets associated with that type of a scent.
Yeah. Oh yeah, because like I think back then too, like people were more apt to have their like front doors open and have like the screen thing. Like I know when we had the old doors, when we were kids, we would change out from like the storm glass door to being the screen door. And
Yeah.
we would leave the door open and have it like that. But nowadays, with how people are, like, you never know if somebody's going to just walk in to your house or something. But like, you know, it was different. It was like different back then. Like, you weren't like, oh God, you know, is somebody going to walk in the house or something? But yeah, I know what you mean, especially when you have the windows open at night and you're hearing like the crickets and like, all the little like peeps and stuff going off, and like then you smell that bonfire from somewhere around your house just wafting in the windows. Now, I don't like when people don't know what they're doing and they just burn crappy wood, and like they burn like stuff that's very green. And what I mean by that is like it's like young wood or like just random like branches and leaves and stuff, and it's just stinks. Then you have to close your windows and you're like, really? So
it smells like burnt peanuts.
Yeah,
it's horrible when they burn like the wet rotten wood. That's something whenever me and Katie smell that, we will text each other being like, it's the burnt peanut smell, someone's burning rotten wood, because it stinks so badly. And it's to the point, it's like, why are you even burning that wood?
And it's like it can't be good to breathe that in, like,
no. Or it's maybe that they're literally just burning a bunch of like wood that was from furniture. Maybe they shouldn't be burning. I know some people will do that type of stuff.
Yeah.
You're not really supposed to be around because a chemical reaction will happen when all of like the varnish and all that heats up.
Yeah.
But yeah, that wood is the worst. That and skunk. Oh, the skunks, it's horrible. My street, I feel like they really need to do something about it. My street, it's horrible. I could have sworn this morning when I left for work, I smelled a skunk. Like it was like this burning rubber skunk smell. It was horrible. I'm like, oh, not this time of year again.
I was going home the other night and I think I was cutting through the park over here, and there was like a skunk, and I was like, seriously? God. And it's just,
I think some of the problem is on certain areas of the city, especially by me, there's a lot of ditches that have all of the stuff where they can all go through the
they can go in there, the pipes and stuff.
All can burrow in there. And I know because ours was never filled in. There's a lot of people over by the park that have like their ditch. And I think that that's what happens is that they get scared, they run in burrowing and living in there, and it just reeks so bad.
Yeah, it's bad. Ugh. I can't, the smelly wood, the like burnt peanut, and then like it smells like old bad cigars at the same.
Well, it's super bad when it gets to the point where it's smoldering out your whole street. That happens a lot. There's these people that I don't know if they like to burn the biggest leaf pile in the world, or they always have all this wet like lumber and stuff, but they do that. They smoke the whole street. It's so gross.
Yeah, we've had some of our neighbors do that, and it's even came from like a street over, and it's just like blowing, and it's just so thick, and I'm like, what are you doing? It almost makes you think like a house is on fire or something because of like how bad it smells and like how thick the smoke is, and you're just like, oh my God, what is that? I'm like, there's certain people you're like, just don't do a bonfire, please. Like, oh my God. What the one neighbor puts it too close to their house, and I'm like, that's not safe. What are you doing? I don't know. People are crazy.
Yucky.
Yeah. But we do text each other immediately.
Seriously, almost do a whole video about gross smells next.
Oh yeah, we probably could.
We'll talk about this again, and no, we should. Good smells and bad smells. There we go. Another video right there. Moving back onto the good smells though, and the good memories.
Right. This is about good memory smells, not stinky smells.
at Christmas time, we make a butter lemon cookie.
Mm-hmm.
And so it's just so good. And when you smell it, you just know, like we used to make it around Valentine's Day, make hearts, but it kind of just transitioned now only to Christmas.
Mm-hmm.
And it smells so good, and it fills the house up. Of course, and my dad, whenever we do bakery or like brownies or cakes, what stinks? Bakery cooking smells.
Meanwhile, he's lighting some horrendous pine needle scent.
Gross. Which like another thing, that's another one. But I love the smell of the cookies being baked because it happens around that time of year, and it is just so good.
Yeah. It just makes you think of Christmas.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. That's like when you're hiking in the fall, like that sweet and earthy scent from the leaves. It's like, and it, especially if it's like crisp air out, it like enhances it. I don't know. It just, that kind of smell just makes me like happy. And I just am like, always want to be in the woods when the leaves are changing. I mean, I like to be in the woods anytime, but there's like something about that specific, because every season has its own scent, especially when you're in the woods. You really can smell that. So
yeah,
I don't know, there's just something about that.
What I like to do when I was little with the leaves is make them into big piles, or when my dad was using the leaf blower and the way back, we would jump in it. But there was a problem that started to happen.
Uh-oh.
We were like pink eye, and we just were associating it with, it was us being like actually jumping in the leaves or being right by the piles. Because we gotta know though, like some of these leaves are starting to decay. There's some type of molds, different stuff going on. It happened more than once that I don't know if it was me and Julia, but pink eye happened, and it just got kind of related to that being like, yeah, we're not jumping the leaf piles anymore. We were so disappointed because you smelled that when you jumped in it.
Oh yeah. And like sometimes I get that whiff when I'm like raking leaves in the backyard, and we used to do that as kids, but we didn't do it as often because my mom was always like, there could be lice on the leaves. Because you never know, like there could be bugs and stuff.
There's all these little microscopic organisms too that can be on the trees and the leaves and stuff. So you do got to be careful. But yeah, we kept getting pink eye.
Ew.
Something was going on, so like no more of that. I'm like,
don't do that. You're gonna get pink eye.
But we did a lot of weird stuff outside when we were little. That could be a totally other video.
I think we all did. Like, because like I was saying, when I was talking about in this, like the summer sense and stuff, we just were outside all day. So like you get up to random things.
But we should see if we should see who did the most weirdest things when we were little. I'm being serious. Some of the stuff we did outside.
Who knows?
It's pretty funny. Like turning the camper into a police station.
We had sports and stuff like that.
I think we need to do a video just about that, because I swear the stuff I'll bring up, you'll be like, what the heck?
You're like, what are you talking about? As long as it didn't like involve eating bugs or something.
No. It was never that. We just did a bunch of really weird stuff, or like the play pretend games we did outside were really out there. So that's why I feel like for when it's summertime, we should definitely do like the weird things we did outside in summer. Because oh boy, I mean seriously. On. Smelling scents.
That's saving that for later.
Yeah. Good smelling scents. What else?
Well, when you were talking about like the cookies, like specific recipes that like your family makes, even if it's like dinners and stuff, brings you back to like when you were a kid. Like I know there's certain things like with certain pasta dishes, when it's cooking, it reminds me of my great grandma's house.
That's cool.
Yeah, so because she would always, that was her biggest thing. And when she had to go into the nursing home, like it was hard on her because she always cooked like all day, every day. And she would have sauce simmering. She was the type where she was old school and she would make her own dough and everything and like cut it. She wouldn't use a pasta maker to cut the pasta. She would cut the pasta by hand with scissors. Like that's how she was. So, and she lived till she was 100. But so anytime like certain dishes are cooking, like manicotti or pasta fazool, which pasta fazool is pasta and beans. It's like a soup type thing. And so when
idiot, I don't know what this stuff means.
Oh, so manicotti is, that's like the American way that people will say it is manicotti, and that's not how you say it, it's manicotti. But that's the stuffed shells with like the ricotta cheese and stuff.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So and then like those, it's things like that when they're cooking, it just reminds me of like her house when she would be cooking. Oh my God, she would make meatballs like massive. They were like this size. Yeah, they were like huge. Wow. And I'm like, dude. And her thing was like, eat, eat, eat. That's how Italian people always are. Like they're like, and you're just like, oh my God, I can't eat anymore. And we would call her little Gram because like, instead of saying great grandma, we would just say little grandma or little Gram. And so we were like, no, like we were little kids, but we'd be like, no, we're full. And she's like, no, eat, eat, eat. And it's like, oh my God, you would like roll out of there. Like just so full. So it just reminds me of that. Certain dishes will remind me of her cooking. Oh, what about like the first day of school smell? Like, you know what I'm talking about?
I think I kind of know what you mean. I can't describe it though.
No, I can't either. It was like a mix of like the cleaners that they would use in the building.
Fresh cut grass. I mean, seriously, it was like fresh cut grass.
Because they would have the windows open. The paper, like fresh printer paper. And like supplies, like fresh pencils and like stuff like that. It would be all this like mix of a scent.
That, and then because I feel like it would always be dewy on the grass in the morning. Mm-hmm. So it was like cool in the morning, but kind of warming up, that there was a scent that developed from that, kind of with the fresh cut grass that you would smell.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know what you mean. Everything's clean and fresh.
And like those,
but you're getting the smells of the end of the summer too.
Yeah, you're getting that mixed, but then like whatever scents are in the building from like the new papers that were put up and like the cleaners and like all that kind of stuff that they use.
Back to the floor over the summer.
Yeah. And then like the planners when we were growing up, it was always exciting to see what the front would be, but those had a distinctive smell to them too. And I can't really explain the scent, but like if I smell it, I know it.
Yeah, and see, the schools we went to did not have air conditioning, so all of our windows were wide open. So that's why when we're bringing up those smells, even though either if you were getting dropped off at school or went on the bus, you would smell some of that stuff. It would carry into the school too, or like when you went out for recess and you come back in.
Yeah. Yeah, you kind of bring this. And like our one school had we had a little garden, like a vegetable garden in the back that like the grades would plant things and stuff. So you would get like that whiff coming through some of the windows too. And like I remember they had us do like a thing with butterflies, and we like waited for them to hatch from being the caterpillar, and then we would release them out in the garden. But yeah, it's with that too, it was, you got that, you knew when the end of the summer was coming because there was like that switch in the scent and even like the sounds. So you knew like school was coming up soon. So I like, there's times now as an adult when you like smell that like end of the summer scent, or like just the way the sun looks at like a certain point, or like the sounds that you hear, you're like, oh, it's back to school time, even though like we don't go back to school. Well, you're a teacher, but we don't go back to school in a sense of like when we did like as a kid. But
yeah, it's a whole different story.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know that all of those scents together. Yeah, it's very true.
It's so hard to explain it because like if people didn't grow up like when we did, they might not have those exact scents. So they might not know what we're talking about. And like you said, we didn't have AC in our schools.
When you're in these schools with the air conditioning, everything's all closed up. A lot of these teachers will have the wax melters or plug-in. So you'll just smell a bunch of that type of stuff. So there's not really a distinctive smell anymore. Right. Or like when you're always in like the old school buildings, you would have like that old wooden school type, like not old wooden, but like there was like a smell that would just kind of linger, like the old middle school.
Yeah.
Just there's a like smell that it didn't stink, it didn't smell bad. It's just that it was because it was an older building, it just had this thing that lingered. And a lot of times back then people weren't using all of like the smelly, like all the like the plug-in smell. Yeah.
It smelled like school. Like it didn't have like the wallflower bulbs in it or anything like that. Like there was a distinctive school smell. And because like the only people that would be in the school during the summertime for a certain point of time is the janitors, like getting stuff cleaned up at the end of the school year. And then before the school year, you know, making sure all the floors are waxed and everything. So there's a point where like this building's closed up and it not having AC, like it keeps that scent trapped in. And then when they open the windows, like that scent of like the older building scent, not being like a gross musty scent or anything, just like an older building, that's trapped in there. And then when you open up the windows, you get like the late summer scent, and then the school supply scent mingles with it. And it's just, I don't know. There was something about that.
Brand new crayons.
Yeah.
Brand new. Yeah. The other one that I was thinking of when we were talking about this, it is school related. When I was in theater in high school, we would be actually cutting and sawing like fresh wood, or it might be wood that was just sitting around. And there's just this distinctive smell of like fresh cut wood that it's ingrained. And it just makes me think of theater, like especially freshman year. Freshman year, we did a ton of building for the set we did for Odd Couple, like cutting up like to make the one bookcase, to help do stuff with the walls when we were making the flats. And then another year, I can't remember, I think it was sophomore year when, no, that was junior year, when we made like the whole set was a bunch of like pieces of wood that it was supposed to be like see-through walls and stuff to make it more minimalistic. There was just all this cutting of wood. So you just smelled that and it smelled so good. So anytime I smell that, I'm like, theater, like I just think of that.
Yeah. Like just hot off the presses of wood. Just, yeah, I know what you mean. Like the fresh wood smell, like fresh cut wood. I think we covered a good array of scents that bring back a multitude of memories, whether they be current or childhood memories, whether they were funny or weird or what have you. They brought up like different things. So if there's any sense that like really trigger something for you, leave them down in the comments. If there was some that we stated that you know exactly what we're talking about, let us know so we know we're not like the only ones. I don't know. But or if you like grew up during the same time period and you know that like school smell that we're talking about that was kind of hard to describe, let us know that you knew what we were mentioning. But yeah, don't forget to subscribe, turn on the notifications so that you never miss one of our videos. And remember, we do have a podcast, so these videos, if you don't get a chance to watch them, you can listen to them on the go. So that's always an option now too. So make sure to do that. Spread the word about that. Stay connected on our social media, Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, We're on all those. So you can hang out with us there too. And we will see you next time for another video. Thank you for joining us in the chat first. Bye.
Bye.